As spring arrives with the warm weather, the beautiful flowers, and more time to enjoy outdoors, we also have to deal with those blood-sucking pests. You know the ones I'm talking about. The fleas, the ticks, the mosquitoes. Now these are truly blood-sucking parasites, and they do cause disease, and they can cause severe allergic reactions. In weakened pets, a severe flea infestation can cause severe anemia. But the medications that are now recommended to control these pests, they have some risks too. Health risks include neurotoxicity, including seizures, tremors, ataxia, which is uncoordination. They can cause endocrine disruption, cancer, and even death. Read the package insert, it's right there. You want to weigh the risk versus the benefit. The pests are a risk, so is the medication. So we need to balance that in the best way that works for your situation. What you won't find in that package insert, though, are the environmental risks. We need to remember that there are consequences for everything that we do. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at some of the common health issues and some of the environmental issues of these products. And then I'm going to give you a long list of solutions. Multimodal approach, multiple ways of approaching this to try and minimize the risk of these pests and minimize the use of these toxic chemicals. So let's look at the flea and tick pills. The common ones are part of the Isoxazoline, I may not have said that right, class of products. This class of products has an FDA warning for seizures. I want to read to you the post-approval experience on Bravecto, one of the most common of this class. The following, this was in 2024, so it's a couple of years old now. The following adverse events reported for dogs are listed in decreasing order of reported frequency: vomiting, lethargy, diarrhea, anorexia, which is loss of appetite, tremors, ataxia, which is incoordination, seizures, pruritus, which is itchiness, and allergic reactions, including hives, swelling, and erythema, which is redness of the skin. Now you'll notice that seizures come before allergic reactions. They are more common than those allergic reactions. But at the very beginning, it's all gut issues. And if you've been following along with some of my content, you know that the gut is the primary foundation of our health. And so if we're messing with the gut with these medications, we are potentially messing with the immune system. Now it goes on to say the following reproductive events have been reported following use of Bravecto chews: birth defects, including limb deformities and cleft palate, stillbirth, and abortion. And yet, that same package insert states there are no known contraindications for the use of this product. There's a disconnect there somewhere. I would certainly not use it on a pregnant animal or an animal that's had previous history of seizures or tremors or any kind of neurologic disease. That was me. Now, some of the topical products are known as hormone disruptors, possible carcinogens, as well as having ingredients that have significant environmental impacts. One of the common ingredients that's used in a lot of these products is called Fipronil. It's the main ingredient in Frontline, and it does kill fleas. So this is from an EPA study back in 1995, 30 years ago. This was done by the Division of Carcinogenicity Peer Review Committee. They were discussing the weight of evidence for Fipronil, and particularly in reference to cancer potential. Their conclusion was that Fipronil should be classified as a Group C carcinogen. That means it's a possible human carcinogen. And it's recommended to have that evaluation done to determine the risk, the actual estimation of risk. Now, this was due to increase in thyroid follicular cancer in rats, and it was statistically significant in those studies. In 2003, 20 years ago, there was a review in the reviews of environmental contamination and toxicity, an article. This article states that Fipronil is highly toxic to bees, lizards, and gallinaceous birds. These are birds that are ground-dwelling. It has the ability to bioaccumulate, which can have long-term effects on ecosystems. It easily washes off of your pet when they swim or they're bathed, and then what is absorbed into their system, some of it gets metabolized, most of it doesn't, and it ends up going out into the environment through urine and stool. So then in 2011, 15 years ago, California did a study looking at the water in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and they found Fipronil and its multiple stable degradation products have been detected in the Bay Area urban runoff, urban creeks, and bay sediment. And nationally, Fipronil has been detected in urban runoff, municipal water effluent, water and sediment in urban creeks, and in estuary sediment. The observed concentrations are approaching, and in some cases exceeding, effect threshold, suggesting an increased potential for Fipronil to cause environmental risks in aquatic ecosystems. So this was 15 years ago. Where are we now? Much higher, I'm sure. These risks have been known for decades, and yet the products still keep coming with no warnings. So what can you do? Well, let's look. I want to first mention about heartworm because I know some people are a little bit confused about this. Heartworm is a worm that is carried by mosquitoes, which is why the mosquitoes are so important to control for your pets. So the heartworm completes a life cycle that includes the mosquito and then your pet's blood, and it ends up in the heart of your pet. Now, dogs are the primary host for this parasite, but cats in some highly endemic areas can be affected as well. These worms are anywhere from 8 to 12 inches long. They can do a lot of damage, especially in a small pet. So we want to control them. And so let's first look at these critters. They're not active in the winter. Winter is a great time to just give your pets a break on all flea and tick products, no matter what you use. There's just not any need when it's below freezing all the time. Now, fleas and ticks are hard to control, and this is where, so are mosquitoes, but this is where the multimodal approach really works the best. You want to choose as many of these. I'm going to list all of these down and choose what is going to work best for you to try and minimize the use of all these toxic chemicals. Wondercide is just one of many topical products on the market for cats and dogs. It is made with essential oils. This one has been tested for safety and efficacy. Many of the others have not. And so I'm mentioning this one because of that main characteristic. And the other is that they have solutions for your pet, for the yard, and for the house. And so it's kind of a one-stop shop, which makes life a little bit easier, and they know that these products work well together. Start with the shampoo. The shampoo gives you the ability to wash off your pet, make sure that they're clean and free of parasites. So when your pet is all wet and soapy, that's the time to really go through them and remove everything that you can, because they're not going to be moving. And they're much easier to remove. And then after you've done all of that, before you go outside, you want to use one of the topical sprays. The shampoos do not leave any residual protection. You're rinsing that off. So you want to use one of the topical sprays. Again, these are essential oils. They also have some collars, and those may work as well. You'll have to test and see what works in your area. There's also some house and yard sprays if you already have an infestation or if you've had them in the past and you just want to prevent it. Take a look at what they've got on their site. And again, it's not the only one, but it is one that appears to have the best record, and had some good feedback from it. There are some feed-through products on the market. I'll be honest, I haven't tried any of them for my own pets or for my patients. I did find one that looks good. There's a lot of them out there that I don't really see the benefit of. But Flea and Tick Defense Powder made by Wolf Creek, it is all organic. It has some really good health promoting ingredients in it. So even if it doesn't help with the ticks and fleas, it's going to help your pet as far as their immune function, which is really the key, because a healthy pet is going to be more resistant to these parasites anyway. But they do state on there that it can take a few days to even a month to really build up enough in their system before they start to repel the fleas and ticks. And while you won't notice the change in their odor, these little critters will think that your puppy and kitties smell really bad. So take a look at that. And we have not tried this one yet, but we will be soon, and we'll report back once we have some data for you. Now, manual removal of fleas and ticks is the foundation. We just want to get these things off. It should be done frequently. It depends on your area and how infested it is or how the season is. It's going to vary from year to year, from season to season. So just keep paying attention so that you know how often you really need to check your pet. You want to be especially diligent in the spring, going through the tall weeds. The ticks are really hungry. They haven't eaten all winter, and they're pretty voracious in the spring sometimes. So just be careful with that. There are flea combs. There are a lot of different varieties out there. Some of that, your choice is going to depend on your pet's fur coat and what you can actually get through. I found one that's a bamboo product. We'll put the link below, but it is not by any means the only one out there. It's just one that I found that I like the idea that it's eco-friendly. There's also tick pullers out there. There's a lot of them out there. You can find different shapes and sizes and see what's going to work best for you and your pets. I did find a website. It's called tickcheck.com. Has a lot of good information about the different ticks. It helps you with identification, tells you what diseases each tick carries, and even gives you the opportunity to send a tick in to see if it's carrying any of those diseases. And they have various products to manually remove those ticks. So you can check that out as well. Diatomaceous earth is another product that a lot of people like to use. It is made from the skeletons of single-celled marine organisms, completely non-toxic. It's calcium carbonate. However, the way that it works is that it is very sharp. So for a flea larvae, for example, it will cut the body of them, and they will just die and bleed to death, basically, and dry out. But that also means that it can be irritating to the skin, to the eyes, to the lungs. So you want to be careful about the product that you choose, that it's a low dust and the right type for a particular usage. I'm going to have a link below that has an article that was pretty good about explaining some of the differences to look for. Then we get into mosquito control, and that again depends on your yard, your situation. There are some really good natural approaches that your neighbors will even appreciate. Things like swallow houses. Swallows are those wonderful small birds that fly around in dusk and dawn, and they can eat as many as 500 insects in a day. So you get a whole nest of them, and you can really decrease your insect population. Bats are even better, and I know some people think they're creepy. I think they're pretty adorable. But they can eat as much as 600 insects in an hour, according to the article that I read. If you have a pond on your property or are considering adding a pond, consider adding some mosquito larvae eating fish. There's different kinds. The mosquito fish, the mud minnow, guppies, and even small goldfish. So you'll want to check with the fish provider in your area to see what will survive and thrive in your environment. You can also use the topical sprays like Wondercide. It does repel mosquitoes, so that can also work before you take your pet outside in the summertime. There is also an option that you'll need your veterinarian to work with you on, and that is decreasing your dose of the prescribed heartworm prevention. So most of those preventives are dosed to control intestinal parasites as well. Intestinal parasites in most part of the country for adult pets. So puppies and kittens are definitely, they need that intestinal parasite management. But as your pet gets older, they have their own immune system that will normally take care of those. So depending on your area, you may be able to use the lower dose of that heartworm prevention to control heartworm. It won't control the intestinal parasite. You'll still need to do a fecal periodically to check. But that's another option for decreasing the toxicity or the amount of product that they're getting, and therefore the toxicity. So potentially you could decrease the dose by 1/4 to 1/9, but absolutely check with your veterinarian before you do anything like that, especially in a highly endemic area for mosquitoes and for heartworm. So there's a lot of different ideas. I hope that helps. If you have any other suggestions, please put them in the comments. If you have any other questions for me, please also put them in the comments or send me a message. Have a wonderful spring. Enjoy the weather, and we'll talk soon.